think we are going live right about now. It's so funny because it lags a little bit, so it's hard to see. Meeting is now streaming on Facebook. All right, I think we are live. Waiting for it to pop up. I'm sure it will. There's usually a lag, like I said. Anyway, hey everybody, what's going on? It's John Brewer here, Socially Distant Supper Club. I am here with Kevin Bednarz. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Perfect.
Awesome. And the reason I got in touch with you is we have a mutual friend named Erica LeClaire, and she turned me on to your Instagram page, and she turned me on to what you guys are doing right now. And you're located in Virginia, correct?
Yeah, Northern Virginia, maybe about 40 minutes from DC.
40 minutes from DC. My mom used to live in that area, actually, Loudoun County. I think she was in Ashburn.
Yeah, that's where we have the Ashburn pub there, which has been there for 25 years. And then this one's in Purcellville, which is further west, like a half hour west.
Awesome. So how long have you been in the restaurant business? Give everybody kind of an overview.
30 years. Yeah, I just turned 50. So yeah, over 30 years in and out, started as a busboy, dishwasher, the whole deal. Had some great mentors. And the pub in Ashburn was opened in 95 by someone else. And I started working there, and one thing led to another, became a partner and ended up buying him out. And then that's kind of how it all happened.
And you basically worked up through the ranks?
Very much. Every single position I've had, for sure.
Awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. So what made you decide to get into a restaurant? What made you decide to make this a business venture?
I tell you what, I tell everybody the bar backing job was my favorite, but being a bartender was something I always wanted to do, I think, and I loved it. And I've always had that entrepreneurial spirit. I never wanted to work for anybody else. And until you open your own business.
No, we lost your video. There you are.
There you are. Until you can open your own spot, I think being a bartender or server is like the best thing you can do, because you make cash and you kind of set your own hours. So that was a big deal. Sorry.
Yeah, it's kind of like being a sales manager. And it's like you're doing sales your whole life, and then they're like, "Hey, man, why don't you head up the whole sales department?" And then you look back about a month or two later, and you're like, "Wait a second, I can't play golf anymore. I can't do all this thing. Let me go back to bartending."
It's sorry about moving around. It's but it's quality of life, right? Like, you want to have the hours you want, make the money you want. So it gets to a point also when you're making tips that you can only make so much, right? The cash is great when you're 25, even 30, 35, and then you got to start thinking long term. So I kind of fell into the thing in Ashburn, was able to buy him out, and it's worked really well.
So talk to us a little bit. Obviously, we're going on almost a year now. I think St. Patty's Day, the week after St. Patty's Day, will make it a year. And you're dealing with weather issues now there. But can you talk us through like what it was like when the lockdown or when COVID first started? I know Virginia has a different situation than maybe Florida has.
Well, Virginia, I'm learning, is the second most restricted state in the country between policy, education, stuff like that. So they got us pretty tight. So when it first happened, of course, like most of us, we didn't think it was a big deal at first. And then the shutdown came, and we had to adjust really fast. And luckily, our community is so resilient. We're pretty active on social media. We're pretty creative. We went out and we fed some nurses. And how that happened was customers came to us and said, "You guys are losing business. Here's money, treat it like a catering job, and go feed the frontline nurses or the EMTs who are getting overwhelmed." So what we did is we did it at cost. For example, if you were to give me $1,000 to go feed 100 people, I'd say, no, give me 500. So we partnered up, and people just started donating money for us to go feed people. So it was a self-fulfilling prophecy. And we were one of the first people, I think, to really do it. So it was great PR, and we love our EMTs. We love our frontline workers. It got cash flow, and we were able to keep pretty much our entire staff intact during March, April, and May. So that was a huge thing. We were getting known for being very positive about the whole thing because, we're not going to sit back and get our ass kicked. We figured out ways to make it work. We were doing drive-by shots, margaritas to go. I was hand painting beer growlers and selling them as collectibles to raise money, not only to feed people, but to keep my staff. So it was a great summer doing that. We met a lot of great people doing it, and that got us kind of the momentum to keep going. And as things slowly opened up a little bit, people come back in droves. I'm turning people away on Friday night because I can't see them.
Is that right? And what's your capacity right now?
Technically, you're 100% capacity. However, tables need to be 6 feet apart.
Right.
So that splits it almost in half, and you can't have people at the bar. So some of the rules are kind of, you know, a double standard, as you might say. Like down in Florida, the numbers are probably better than our numbers here, and you guys are open. So it's very frustrating where we are, because the community wants to come out and support us. And I hear customers say it all the time, you know, if you don't feel comfortable going out, stay home and get delivery. And I don't mean that to be rude, but there's enough people that want to come out. They know how clean we are and how safe we are. So we're getting there, but the support of the community has been huge.
That's awesome. And I really think, you know, we've got that here where the community's really rallied around our restaurants because, you know, the way I look at it, and we were on the Today Show, it's the last bastion of small business. You know, all our hardware stores have turned into Lowe's and Home Depot's, and the boutique clothing stores have all been Amazoned out. And I really think that restaurants not only provide a place for the community to gather and be together, but it really is that last bastion of mom and pop. And, you know, I shudder to think of a world where every restaurant is owned by Amazon or Uber Eats, or, you know, it's just kind of a homogenous kind of an experience where you're going to either get column A, column B, or column C. You know, the beauty of restaurants is you do see the owner like yourself behind the bar. And I do know that the money I'm spending there is going to buy your daughter roller skates, or it's going to buy dance lessons, or that it's staying in. And I think maybe out of COVID, that's one thing that may happen. But what I love what you said before is that you didn't care about making money. You just wanted to keep your employees working. And dude, that hits me right in the heart, man, because so many of the restaurant folks have said that.
It's so true, because if you lose your kitchen staff, especially here, a lot of these guys are going to go get unemployment. They're going to do landscaping. They're going to drive Uber. They're not going to come back. And what happened with, I think, a lot of medium-sized restaurants, say like maybe not a Ruth Chris, but not a huge chain, but like a medium-sized, they had to let, 30 of their 60 cooks go, and then they can't get them back. And you got to train these guys. So that's super hard. So we literally made sure all of our kitchen staff got taken care of. And like I said, we hardly lost anybody, which was huge. I worked with the landlord. I tried to get some PPP money. We did delivery. I was driving, 10 chicken wings 30 miles away just to get momentum. And it paid off. And it's so appreciative. And I saw a great meme when it started where it said, remember that restaurant that gave you gift cards for your kids' Little League or your fundraiser, back in the day? Now's the time to go support them even more. And we've been buying food from all the other restaurants. Other restaurants have been buying food from us for their staff. So we're all in this. I hate that phrase, but as restaurants, we're all in this together. And we're all trying to support each other, because if one goes down, that can be like a domino effect. So.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And that's what's great about like our dynamic on Atlantic Avenue here is that a lot of people go to Atlantic Avenue, they don't know where they're going to eat because they've got choices. So the fact that you're there, you're offering one option. If there's a UFC fight and I want to have chicken wings, I'm going to go to your place. If I want to have sit down Italian, I'm going to go to another place. But that area, we all feed off of each other, especially in the restaurant business. You want to be you want to be one of the best bars on a strip of 10. You don't want to be the only bar on a lonely strip. Yep. That's a fact. That's business 101 in this industry. So that's very true. And, Mike Goodwin did the same thing. I think he's still doing it too. He'd drive around on his motorcycle and go visit all the restaurants around him, and they cross promote each other. And, with Instagram, and this is a great way maybe to segue into social media, which you've been absolutely crushing, it is about that cross-pollination, I like to call it, where, hey, man, if I can turn your audience onto my food and my audience onto your food, people don't want to go to a pub every night. That's right. They're going to want to eat Italian food. They're going to want to have Chinese food. They're going to want to have sushi. So if we can help each other out and broaden all of our audiences, then, rising tide lifts all ships. I love that phrase. That's exactly right. That's it. So talk about your social media a little bit, if you would. Like, Kevin, were you doing social media before COVID? Say that again? Were you doing social media before COVID? Yeah, I've always been pretty active. I probably have a pretty good Instagram following, and I enjoy it because I would be doing it either for business. I do artwork and stuff as well. I've always, painting and been doing drawing and stuff. So I've always been active with it. And when this hit, it was the perfect way to reach out. So I'd jump on Facebook Live almost every day, do kind of a State of the Union thing. And like we talked about before, if you're telling stories and not selling, from our guy, Gary Vee, we talked about, it's super important, because I go online, I see people all the time, hey, I'm bartending, come pay my rent, or it's,
dollar beer night, come see me. It's very boring. So what we started doing is posting a lot of pictures of our staff, things we were doing. I love posting pictures of our kitchen when our cooks are cleaning it, you know, and putting up a hashtag, how clean is your favorite restaurant's kitchen? You know, not a dig, but it gets people thinking about what we do, and it builds the brand, and it's served us pretty well over the last year. So we're super lucky.
That's something I've been trying to drive home with restaurants here. I call it the 3 C's, and it's COVID, it's curbside, and it's cuisine. So, you know, what do you do to make sure that people feel safe? And I told everybody you should be doing 3 posts a day. One of them, exactly what you're saying, showing the chefs keeping things clean, showing them cooking food with their masks on, whatever it may be, showing your staff lined up, ready to go for the day with gloves on and, you know, the masks on and all that stuff. And then, you know, the curbside, what are you guys doing? Are you making it easy? Is it contactless? You know, can they order over the phone? Can they order on an app? Whatever you may have for that. And then the food is actually, I think, the third, you know, thing right now. You know, the food, obviously you want to showcase the food, but kind of something I've been trying to drive home. It seems like you guys are doing kind of the same thing.
I like that. That's strong too. And, you know, we're coming up with family meals, and it changed everything. And looking back over the summer, it was so funny because we're trying to buy mason jars, which everything's sold out. We couldn't find to-go cups. It was sold out. ABC said you couldn't put beer in a styrofoam cup, so we had to get glass. Like, looking back over the hurdles we had to jump was hysterical. Every morning we woke up and it was something different, but we figured it out and we were transparent. And again, we documented everything that we were doing. Like, if I was going to the Tractor Supply store and buying mason jars, I'd shoot a video and explain, like, this is what I have to do to get you guys beer. And people loved it. You know, they thought it was fun. We even did a lot of food specials. And now, even though we're not back to normal, like, we're doing a Super Bowl, you know, platters, wings to go. We're doing Mardi Gras stuff with food and drink. We can't have the big party, but we can still give the food and the drink. And people seem to feel like that's a little bit of normal. So that's good.
That's great. Yeah. So are you doing like Zooms or anything like that with people that take out? I know some people were doing that, trying to do wine tastings. Did you try that?
Yeah, we did a lot of stuff. We actually partnered up with another local company. We fed 500 teachers for free, which was a huge move,
That's awesome.
A community move. Most people, believe it or not, here though, they're either going to do the DoorDash or Grubhub. Curbside, we will do it, but out of 100 people that call and order food to go, 90 of them just come into the front desk and pay for it. So that's really comforting to see that they want to poke their head in, they want to say hi, they want to tip the person taking the order. But again, if someone wants curbside or they don't want to come in, we're totally prepared to bring it out to them. But curbside technically is only about 10% of our carryout. The rest of the people either get the delivery service or they come on in, which is great because we love to see everybody, at least their eyes. Now, they're not going to see this, but we can look them in the eyes and say thank you.
That's awesome, man. That's really great stuff. And it's a great point, I think, as well, that communication that people want. You know, we're kind of open here in Florida. So I think with your situation, exactly that. People do want that, even if it's just a couple of seconds. They want to see another person, you know, obviously at a safe distance, using protocols and all that, but they want that communal feeling. You know, when we were first in lockdown, Tim Finnegan's, they were doing the curbside and we were doing like flash mobbing. So
that's awesome.
Catering, we were trying to basically, I tell restaurants, let's limit your menu or do something different. Let's get everybody to order a day in advance. That way you can order the food, you can hire staff back. You can, you know, even if it's for one day, you can go from doing 10 meals to 65, 275, I think Tim Finnegan one time. But we found out the people that were pulling up in their cars were getting out. And, you know, and then Tim Finnegan's jumped on that and they started serving double Moscow mules there. So 3 cars lined up, everybody stayed in front of their cars, but they were talking to each other and trying to be quote unquote normal for a while. So that's interesting.
We had drive-through shots where no one was allowed in the building. Someone came in to pick up their carry-out. You could do to-go alcohol, so they would come in and get their to-go shots and go. And whatever we could do to keep it fun and keep it safe at the same time. But it's a balance, right? Like, it's a whole new level of customer service. When someone walks in, now you have to size up their comfort level, right? And you have people that come in, you know, they don't want to wear a mask and this is the worst. And they want to belly up to the bar. Hey, I might feel the same way, but we can't do that. So we got to kind of teach them how to, you know, relate. And then you have other people that come in that are very apprehensive, borderline scared, right? And they're, you know, in a hazmat suit, and you got to really play to that comfort level and make sure they're taken care of. So it's a whole nother level of balance that we have to deal with, which is crazy, but it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? So everybody that comes in the door, you really have to figure out where they're coming from.
Yeah, and I also talk to the restaurants about optics. Like, what are they seeing as far as employees and this? And I was walking into a lot of restaurants in the beginning, and first thing I would say was, can you get these tables out of here? Because I know you're not seating them, and I know you're spacing them, but optics-wise, it looks like it could potentially be crowded. So, is there a place that you can store these tables? Some of the older, some of the mom and pop restaurants, they like to have all their paperwork out on one of the back tables. It's cluttered. Things like that had to go. People want to see streamlined. I know behind the bar sometimes you get these little areas that kind of, especially back when I bartended, when there was, no online and stuff like that, credit card receipts and
the banger, the old one.
Yeah, the old bangers and stuff, and you had this area that was just kind of cluttered, but people see that.
Perception's reality, and that's the whole deal. And it's unfortunate too, because you will get, say, a customer who might have bought a pub hoodie, and they walk out the door, the mask is below the nose, and they think that's an employee. So we've been super, super diligent on making sure people understand what we need, communicating with them, and the signage up is a big one, like, no service at the bar. Like, it's crazy that we have to do that, but that's some of the biggest stuff we have to do. And we've had a good communication with the health department. We just got our score for our inspection, which was like a perfect score. So we post that online too. Like, I love putting that out there so people feel comfortable.
So you're not allowed to have people at the bar right now?
Nope.
Wow. Because
but I can have a table, here.
Yeah, that's what a lot of the restaurants here are still doing. But I mean, yeah, absolutely. You can do the table at the bar where people can you can see 3 there, and then another 3, and then another 3. Okay.
So it's interesting, and I feel really bad for the health department. I spoke to them today because they're getting hundreds of calls, from people that could be disgruntled or saw something, whatever. So they actually can't even do their regular job of inspecting because they're so busy chasing down, complaints and things like that. So I feel for them, but luckily they're very open with us, and we have a good relationship, and they know which places need more attention. So it's been actually a really good relationship. Like, they're not the enemy, you know what I mean? They're actually they're with us, which is great. It's rare you say that, everybody used to hate the health department, here they come, but now we welcome them because we got to work together.
Well, you've proven yourself to be a good actor. I mean, as far as like doing the protocol and taking care of things, we've had some instances here, that I'm not going to go into right now. But let's get back to social media a little bit. Do you have a philosophy that you use for social media? Do you have a strategy or tactics that maybe you can share with the audience?
Go watch all of Gary Vee's videos. No, but I think being authentic, being transparent, it's your personal brand, like all the things he says. But the biggest thing for me is one of my bartenders that's here, we have her, she does some of the static posts. I tell her post 2 or 3 times a day, and I can layer my posts on top that I might spend money on. I might go live, something spur of the moment giveaway, but laying down those foundations.
I want to interrupt you right there. You are spending money on some of your Facebook stuff?
Oh, yeah.
Are you doing it on video? Are you doing it on posts? What are you doing it on?
I used to spend more when the algorithm was better, if that makes sense. So what's working for us right now, and I highly recommend everybody do this, is I post on my personal page, today's Mardi Gras, blah, 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 all the info. Then I share it to my business pages and my business Instagram as well, which isn't as friction-free, but it's shared there. Then I share it to every restaurant, local business group, because the groups are where everybody's chatting right now, right? Like best restaurants in Florida, or what 10 restaurants aren't following protocol, or who's doing to-go food, or what's the best spaghetti. There's all those groups that have thousands of people, and those are where people are very active. And it's free to share in the group. So I'll take one post and share it in 20 groups. It takes me 5 minutes, and that is where I interact. And something else I think people forget is I can sit home.
That's the other part of it. Let me interrupt you right there, is engagement. And I was just listening to Gary Vee last night, and he was talking about in the beginning, he was staying up till 3 o'clock in the morning to get his brand and answering anybody who posted or made a comment on Twitter. He made sure to respond to everybody. That engagement is a very important factor. Please go
I can go home in my sweatpants and people are like, oh, I didn't see you at the restaurant, but I'm working because everybody's face is in their phone, right? So I'll communicate with every comment, every review, good one, bad one, whatever. I'm sending out gift cards. If someone didn't have a great experience, I'm all over that one. If someone had a great experience, I'm shouting it. But interacting is huge, but also having someone post daily static posts of like today's happy hour special. Not that it's boring, but it's a constant. I don't have to do that. That lays the foundation. I can go on top and do the fun stuff. But
right, so you got your baseline post, and then you have your kind of your spices that you're going to add over the top to kind of add more flavor. But in that flavor, you're also kind of have a brand that you're doing. So obviously with you guys, you're having a lot of fun.
Yes.
Making the best of a bad situation. You're
Yep.
helping the first line, the first responders. That's awesome. You've got Mardi Gras going this week, and I think it's snowing outside. I promised everybody.
I'll take on. So we got Mardi Gras. So yeah, look at this. Hold on, you got to see this.
Mardi Gras in the snow. I love it.
So it's technically a snow day today. It's out there in Florida. Yeah, it's coming down. So Mardi Gras we do every year. So what we do is we go and buy the 26-ounce Pat O'Brien's Hurricane glasses from New Orleans, from Bourbon Street. We get 2 cases at each location. We sell the Hurricanes for like $16. You keep the glass. And this week we're doing jambalaya. Next week we have a different glass from Pat O'Brien's. You keep it. It's a grenade cocktail. And we're going to do these shrimp po' boy sliders. We're going to hand out beads. So that's just something to get people interested. And I honestly believe, right, we're doing Valentine's Day carry out food. But after the Super Bowl, after Valentine's Day, we're going to have St. Patrick's Day, which we're going to do something special, but we can't pack them in. That's okay. We have the patio. And I think right after that, when the weather turns, we're going to see a breath of fresh air in the restaurant industry. I honestly believe they might lift a little bit of the restrictions come spring because we'll have some more vaccines, warm weather. You know, we've been through the protocols. We got some fatigue and the numbers should be better. So we're really counting on that because we can't sell alcohol past 10 o'clock either. That's another one.
Really?
Yeah, they locked us down.
You got shut down, huh?
Yep. So luckily, our customers who love us have adjusted. They just drink a little bit earlier, and they know to pull the drinks at 10 o'clock and just make the best of it.
And I love what you just said there, because if you get, as long as you're making the guests aware and the customers aware, and you've done everything, you know, the first responders makes the community respect you, makes the community engage with you, getting the community in there and saying, hey, listen, we love your support. We need your support, but you got to get in and out before 10 o'clock. You've got an open stream of communication going on with them, which is just bringing them into the brand more and more for coming out of this.
And unfortunately, sometimes in a small bar like Ashburn, this one, there comes a sense of entitlement, right? They get a little bit entitled, but they're our family and we love it. Like I see customers changing the paper towels in the bathroom because they just want to, you know what I mean? So you can't buy that type of loyalty and respect. So they deserve that we put our best foot forward. And as much as this year sucked and I don't want to do it again, we're going to make it. And it was some of the best life lessons and business lessons I've ever had. So I'm trying to instill that into my son who's 12. He's seen it and, you know, people see it. So it's not about me, you know, rah, you fed nurses. It's about when we come out of this going, look, it can be done, but you got to get off your butt and work. Because I saw some restaurants that are like, they don't even know how to get the PPP money. They didn't know how to do curbside. And I'm like, you got to figure it out real quick or you're going to be, you know, a statistic, which is unfortunate. But if you pivot and rotate and have fun with your staff and like you say, communicate, I think it can be done.
Yeah, you bring up a great point. We have that here too. You know, it's whenever there's a downturn like this, there's going to be people that are going to come out of this in better shape than when they went in. And sometimes it's a hard life lesson, but you've learned probably to run meaner. You've learned to run leaner, and you've learned that there's other avenues maybe that you weren't really exploring. That now you're like, this is something I'm going to use for the rest of my career. And now you're coming out of this stronger.
Yeah, I really think so. And I have friends that own pizza places or McDonald's and they're up 20 and 30%. And they say the same thing. Like they don't want to go through this again. They can't stand being told what to do and following some, you know, these rules, but they're going to come out of it ahead. And there's no shame in that. You know, real estate is prospering here too. Real estate is unbelievable where we are. I'm sure it is by you. Everybody's moving down to Florida.
Why is real estate good by you? Oh, just to get out of the city, right? Everybody's moving out of DC.
So Loudoun County is the wealthiest average median income in the country for the past 5 years. A lot of government workers, and out where I live in the burbs and out west, everybody's pushing out further. But it's such a seller's market. There's no inventory for homes. So someone will list a house for $590, and it'll get into a cash bidding war and go for $640 in 48 hours.
Wow.
It's really crazy right now. So I applaud those guys. You know, if you had your best year in 2020, good for you. I love the good news. You know, you'll never hear me crying, begging for money or saying, oh, we're not going to make it. You know, my thing is it's a struggle. It's a challenge. We need every penny we can get, but we appreciate it. And we're going to make sure we do it. You know, that's kind of been the mantra versus, you know, oh, woe is me kind of thing. Now, if you live in the city, like in DC or Manhattan, that's a different story. You know, you better call Dave Portnoy and Barstool because
yeah, he's been doing a great job, and I know there's a chef out, Chef Gruel, I think, is out there. Slapfish, the owner of Slapfish, they've got some great stuff going on. We've been trying to do what we can to help out. Any words of advice? We're gonna get. I know you got to get back to work. I promised you a half hour, and I'd let you go. Any words of advice you want to say to all the fellow restaurateurs out there, or even the customers that are out there that are taking a look at this right now?
Right. I'll tell you what, I think the biggest thing is communication and manners, because what's happening, not to get on a negative thing, but what's happening in our business is people don't understand the rules. They might see something, and instead of coming to the manager and going, hey, next time, can you do this? Or what about that? What's happening is a friend of mine's restaurant, got visited, anonymous complaints. We've turned our community into crossing guards instead of letting the health department and the CDC do their job. So I would say to customers, don't give us a break. If there's a hair in your food, you better tell me. I'll take that negative Yelp review. But when it comes to the regulations, make sure you understand them so we can all work together. But on a positive note, 99% of the customers are super positive. I mean, they support us. It's heartwarming to see what they're doing for everybody. They're tipping my staff, $50 for like one drink. It's unbelievable. The majority of people are so concerned. I love it. And fellow restaurateurs, I mean, just stay with it, because I honestly think this summer there's going to be a big light at the end of the tunnel, but people just need to figure out a way. Like this is, gut check time. Figure out a way to make it work, communicate with your customers. And, a couple months are going to go by and we're going to be on our feet. I really believe by this summer, you're going to see a big change. So we're almost there. You know what I mean?
Awesome stuff. So this is your last chance to shameless plug. Tell us your hours of operation. Tell us what you got going on. Tell us where people can find you on Instagram and all that good stuff, Kevin.
I love it. My personal is at Kevin Bednarz, Bednarz, at Ashburn Pub, at the Purcellville Pub, and all my stuff's all linked there. Northern Virginia, Ashburn's been there for 25 years. This we opened up 2 years ago, less than 2 years ago. Who'd have thought our 1 year anniversary would be a COVID anniversary? But between the two, we're just having a blast, and we love our customers. So I appreciate everything we talked about today, and appreciate you having me on, man. It's good to get some of this stuff out.
Dude, it really is. And I have so much respect for everybody that's in the trenches like you right now and making the best of it. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I'm so glad that Erica turned me on to you. I actually had somebody posting. Let me see who it is. Kelly Francis says, he's an amazing restaurant owner. Wish Delray had his place here. Lots of locals grew up with his wife. So
yeah, my wife is here, so she knows Erica. My wife grew up in Delray, so it's funny. I'm from New York. She's from Florida, and I'm like, I'll never live in Florida. And she's like, I'll never live in New York. So Virginia's great. Now with what Florida's got going on, I'm ready to go to Florida. I'm ready to move.
Well, brother, man, we appreciate you, and let everybody know how much we appreciate them, your staff and everybody. And if you're ever down in Florida, please look us up. We'd love to have you. We'd love to show you around.
We're coming down for sure.
Delray Beach and everything we've got going on here. And just want to spread the love, man. And
got it.
Really, thank you for the best practices, because I think it's really important that we keep sharing and not only
learning, right? Yeah.
Go ahead.
And that's why I keep my ear to the ground and listen to guys like you and other people, because there's always more we can learn and do. I don't want to get complacent either. So let's keep going.
I love it, man. Any last words are yours. Go ahead.
Support local. That's all I got.
We'll see you, brother.
See ya.